Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, welcome, happy Friday. My name is Brian Billig. I'm the head of customer education over here at Assembly Software, and welcome to our latest What's New in Neos. Every time we have a big release at Neos, we do a couple of things. We put a lot of educational content out there, but we also have one of these webinars so that you and your team can join and we'll walk you through all the newest features. And I don't know why I'm running through that rundown because I see all of my favorite people that have been coming to this webinar time and time again. So thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you. We got a lot to cover today. I'm going to try and get you out of here in a fast 30 minutes. So we're going to dive in, go through all of it. If I have the time to answer any questions, I will try to get to that. But let's not stall any further. Let's dive right in. So I'm going to turn my share back on here. There we go. All right. So you should see my screen. This is Neos. And for those of you that have attended this webinar before, you know exactly where I'm going to start because every time we have a release, we put in a rundown for you of everything you need to know. Where do you find that? Right here at the question mark, which takes you to the support portal. Support portal, if you haven't used it before, one of the most powerful help tools available for your Neos program. It's got all kinds of wonderful stuff, but what I'm concerned about right now is this What's New tab. So we'll click What's New, and we've got our change log, which is a running list of all of the changes made to Neos going all the way back. But what we're focused on today is the September 2023 release. Click there. It's going to give you this website with a breakdown of everything you need to know. I don't need to chat with them, though, right now. So what's new in Neos? We've got sort of our table of contents here, but let's get straight to the features. Okay, so our first new feature that we're going to be reviewing today is called Case Tab Migration. Now, for this release, there's a lot of stuff for Neos administrators. There's a lot of stuff for the sort of Neos frontline users, and some that requires a little back and forth between the two of them. So I'll identify each as we go. Case tab migration, very much a Neos administrator feature. This concept gives the Neos administrator the ability to migrate data from within your own Neos system. It is case type specific, so you can only move data within a particular case type that you've chosen, but then you can move either a single field or multiple fields between different tabs. This is useful if you're just getting up and running in Neos and you may have had our conversion team put some data in one place, but you've decided, hey, I want it someplace else. You got the ability to do that yourself. Or for my Neos administrators out there that are constantly kind of tweaking and changing around their case types, if you have something that you would like to change, if you have data on a particular tab that you now, if you're designing a new tab layout, want someplace else, you have the ability to move that en masse. So let's get into it. It's very powerful. It sounds complicated. It's actually really easy. We can access this in settings and then scroll all the way to the bottom under miscellaneous integrations. Finally got a friend. There is a new button right here for case tab migration. So we'll give that a click. Look how simple this screen is. So easy. First, we're going to select our case type. So I'm just going to go with a classic MVA. And then we select our source tab. Where is the data coming from that we want to migrate? So my favorite example for this is a lot of the firms that have been with us for a long time, especially the firms that have come from Needles, had user-defined accident info tabs. And that user-defined accident info tab was so popular that recently we've decided to make a Neos standard accident information tab. So for those firms that had the old accident info tab and they've got a lot of data there, and then there's advantages to using the new standard accident information tab, including clearing up some space for some more user-defined options, but we've got data in both places. So the case tab migration feature is a great way to take care of that. That was a long way of saying my source tab is going to be the old accident info tab. Then what it's going to do is it's going to give me a list of all of my different field options. And I don't need all of them. We're going to narrow our focus here. So what fields do we want to move data from? And I'm going to select two. We're going to keep it really simple here. We're going to go with city and county. So it doesn't have to be just one. You can select multiples. We're going to click apply. Are you sure? Have you made any changes? Yes, I'm sure. And then it's going to show me just those fields. Now, you've got a grid here, and what this grid is sample data. So it's taking a look at some of my most recently opened MVA cases and saying, hey, this is some of the data that's in this field. So you can see what it actually is that you're selecting. So we have our case type, we have our source tab, we have our source fields that we're moving data from, and then lastly, we have our destination field. Where do we want to send it to? And for our example, this couldn't be simpler. We're going to click our drop down. We have multiple tabs that are possibilities based on the selections we've made up top. And what I want is the new accident information tab. So we'll click that, and we want city to go to city. And again, accident information tab, we want county to go to county. Okay. If you would like to see more sample data, you can click show more rows, and more rows will drop in. Mine's a simple demo database, so I only have a couple in here. But what that might do is, you see this review migration button. This is your next step. But if you click show more rows, it kicks it down. So if for any reason you're missing the sort of next step button, check the basement. Go all the way down to the bottom, and it's right here for you. So just to recap, we've got our case type, our source tab, our source fields, and our destination fields. When we're ready, we're going to click review migration, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to review it. So what it's done is it's, again, opened up a couple of sample MVA cases for us. And what we can do is we can click these carrots for more information. And so in our Peter Quill case, it's just showing you, are you absolutely certain the source field is city and county? The new tab that it's going to is the accident information tab. The new field is city and county. The previous data, if there's something different there, or as in this example, there's nothing there, it'll show you that. So it's blank. And what is it going to be? In this case, we're going to change it to Baltimore and Baltimore County. So you can review all of these, make sure it's exactly what you want it to be, confirm migration. Are you super, super sure? Now, it might seem like we're verifying multiple times here. We are. So two things I want to clarify here. One, this is not a move. It is a copy. So the information that is on the source field will stay there. We're not deleting it. But the information in the destination field, if it's blank, no problem. We're going to put data there. If there's existing data there, we are going to overwrite it. And for my little database, it says that this is only 18 cases. For your database, it may be many, many more, which is why I'm saying that this is a Neos administrator function only. And there is a permission specifically for this new feature. So if you are the Neos administrator, make sure that you have access to this and nobody else does, because we don't want anybody to be overwriting lots and lots of data. Okay, deep breath. We've checked. Everything looks good. We're going to click migrate data. Neos is going to think about that for a second. It's going to process all those changes that need to be made. And then we'll get our little success message up top. So we'll close those up. Let's go ahead and open up an MVA case. So I've got my MVA case here for Franklin Nelson. If I go to the old accident info tab, the city there was New York City and the county was Manhattan. I should have showed you the blanks before. It would have seemed more impressive. But if we go from accident info tab, the old, to accident information tab, the new, and look at that, city, New York City, county, Manhattan. So all of that information was copied from the old location into the new fields, and will help you move lots and lots of data if you have to. All right. That is it for the new case tab migration. let's go back to our new features and what's next on the list. By the way, this page that I showed you to from the support portal, it also has the rundown. Everything that I'm showing you here, it has it in text. For a lot of the features, there are videos, so you can see exactly, how these functions work, especially if I went too fast or you missed anything, it's all here. All right. The next feature we're going to talk about is a bit of a mouthful, but it's very cool. It's auto-populate contact document specific fields. All right, Brian, you're going to have to unpack that for me a little bit, and that's what we are here to do. In this video, we're going to review a feature that Neos administrators can use to reduce data entry requirements for any staff creating documents: the ability to auto-populate document-specific fields. So let's dive in. To start, we'll need to go to Settings and Templates. This is where all your merge templates are stored, allowing staff to generate documents from a case with just a click. If we click on a template, I'll use my test document here, we'll see a preview of the template itself, along with basic details like document type, category, source location, etc. We're going to click this Document Fields tab up top. Now, before I explain what this feature does, I'd like to jump over to a case and the Documents tab. Many of your documents are sent or shared with others. So if we open up the details pane of a piece of correspondence, we'll get all the usual details. And if we click Fields up top, there are additional fields here that show important information, such as when it was sent, who it was sent to, who it was sent from. But Neos only knows this information if it's been entered by the user who sends the document when they send it. Well, no more. Let's head back to our template settings. Now this will make a little more sense. We can map merge fields from our document to those corresponding document fields in our Neos system. If this document is always sent to the same type of parties or roles, we have Neos populate these fields automatically every time the document is generated. So as a random example, we'll select name in the to field, the defendant and counsel in the CC, and the insurer in the BCC. When done mapping, just click Save. Okay, that completes the Neos administrator setup portion of this feature. Now let's see what this does for our users. So we'll go back to our case and we'll generate a new document. We'll find the template we just modified, click Next, make our document generation selections, including the party, counsel, name, defendant, and insurance. When all of these are done, we'll click Generate Documents. Our new document will be generated with all our selections, and we should get a success message. And once our new document is available in the Case Docs tab, we'll give it a single click for the Details pane and then head back over to our Fields tab. As you can see, our correspondence fields have been automatically populated for us based on the mapping entered by the Neos administrator associated with this specific document template. And that's how it works. Let's go back to the templates for a second. I want to show you one last thing. These document fields that are available are chosen because this template has a document type of correspondence. So to, CC, BCC, and from fields are appropriate. But these options will change based on what document type is selected for the template as appropriate, such as correspondence or deposition, experts, medical, or even a subpoena. Let's keep rolling. All right. Next up is sync time and value. I love this feature. It's a little thing. It's simple, but it's wonderful. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to Neos. And let's close this stuff up. And this time I'm going to go to a case type that includes time and billing. So we're going to do a criminal case type. And the concept of this feature is that when you create a time entry that has an associated value entry, they are forever intertwined. So if I came here, I could start a timer. I could do, an automated timer entry. But for now, I'm just going to do a manual time entry. And so we'll add a time entry. We'll say it was 2 hours. And the task code was communicate with client. That's a long client conversation. And the value code will be attorney fee. So here's what I got. My Scott Lang case, me as staff, 2-hour duration. It is billable at $150 an hour. It is an attorney fee, and we're billing it to Scott Lang. We're going to go ahead and click save. Now, as usual, I have my new time entry. And then if I go to the value tab, I have a new value tab entry, as you can see, associated with that. It was 2 hours at $150 a pop, $300. So here's all of the information. Now, here's where the new feature comes in. As I said, these things are linked. So for the sake of argument, let's say we're not actually billing to Scott Lang. He might be the person we were communicating with, or it might be his case, but we're actually going to bill this one to Wilson Fisk. So we'll select him, we'll save. Now, usually you would then have to go back and make additional modifications on the other side so everything lined up. No more. We go back to our time entry, we open it up, and look at this. Mr. Fisk, it has already been updated. But let's say in addition to that, Mr. Fisk is a client. Most of the time, you're probably discounting a client, but he's one of those rare instances where this guy gets billed more because, dang it, he makes us work for it every time. So I've changed my rate for this because I'm billing Mr. Fisk to $300 an hour, 2 hours. I go to my value tab, $600. It has already changed the rate, calculated the new total. These two things are tied together, saving you time. Get it? Time. All right. So that is the sync between time and value. Let's keep going down the list. Billing client. Okay. So there's a little bit of new functionality here, more of kind of a change to existing functionality. This used to be referred to as master rates, and we're kind of lining up with more industry terminology. So this is in regards to specific contacts. So if we go to our address book, and we'll open up Mr. Abbott, and every contact, provider, client, whomever, if you open them up through the address book, you'll get their client card, which has its own billing settings. So if we come here, what we can do is we can set a specific rate for this client. You know how we just charged Mr. Fisk that $300 an hour rate? Well, this is where we could come in and say, okay, every time we hit that particular client or contact, this is their specific rate. Whether it's higher or lower or whatever's appropriate for your firm, we enable a specific rate. We set it as $300 an hour for this specific person. We also have the ability to build in exception rates here. So if you have exception rates, if they're paying a lower rate specifically for, paralegal or case manager work, or a higher rate for attorney work, or whatever it is, you can build in your exception rates here as well, so that, this will be the default for this specific client. And then these will be the exceptions based on the staff group, again, for this specific client. All right. So anything that used to be master rates, you can come here. It's now all billing settings, billing client. And it's hard for me as a billig to say billing properly over and over again. All right. So we'll click save there. And now Mr. Abbott has a personal billing rate of $300 per hour. Okay, let's go back to our list and keep rolling because, like I said, there's so much here. Okay. Create deposit requests for debit transactions on credit value items. Again, a lot of terms here. This is in regards to a very specific set of clients that use the value tab in a very specific way. There was an issue on the value tab, and I'm not going to confuse everybody here, because the value tab is working great for you. Awesome. But it had to do in this very specific set of circumstances where you had an existing value entry and then you added a transaction to it. And whether that was falling in the debit or credit column wasn't calculating properly. That has been resolved. So if you're familiar with what I'm talking about, deep sigh of relief. You don't have to do any workarounds anymore. All of that is going to calculate properly. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. You're good too. This was just kind of a big fix for the firms that were specifically running into this issue. Next on the list, case notes enhancements, case notes subject enhancements. So this is regards to case notes in any case. So I'm going to go back to my Franklin Nelson case here, and we're going to go to the notes tab. Now, when you send an email always has a subject. So if we go to our email tab here, we've got subjects for all of these, right? And that is in the metadata of the note as well. We've got the staff who entered it, the date they entered it, the topic of the note, which is like how it's stored in Neos, any attachments, but then we have that metadata, including the fascinating subject of test number 1. So this was very useful for a lot of users regarding emails. So we have extended that functionality beyond emails into general notes as well. General notes, let me close this one, always had a type and a topic, the type being general and the topic being, whatever you've entered. But now you have a user free entry subject. If you guys do a lot of work on the case docs tab, and you know that we have type and category, but also tags that people can kind of enter whatever they want on that field, very similar functionality, but here on notes. So if you enter a new note or you go into an existing one, you have a subject, the topic is pre-populated. That's a drop down that you have to select from. It's a mini directory controlled by your Neos administrator. General is set for you automatically as well. Are you entering a general note? Have you sent an email? Have you made a phone call? Have you sent a text message? That happens automatically. Subject can be anything you want, specific to this particular note. We'll call it happy client, because we can just enter whatever we want here, up to a limit of 255 characters, but you've got lots of options. We close that up, and now we can see that this subject has been entered. So that can be sorted and searched. So if I'm looking for happy, I got happy. So you've got this new subject column to help keep your notes organized. I know that you guys have hundreds, if not thousands of notes per case. So this is one more tier of classification beyond type and topic to allow you to find those notes quickly and easily. All right. Let's keep rolling. We got a whole bunch of new integrations. So I'm not going to go into each one of them individually, but I love this concept, because more and more Neos is becoming a platform for you and your law firm, kind of like, your iPhone has an app store. Well, Neos has all of these integrations that allow you to take advantage of all these other cool services. So adding to the list with this release is YoCierge. There's a nice video demo here. Alert Communications, Dragon Legal Anywhere, which is doing some really cool speech engine stuff, LegalSoft. And for all of these, you go to the same place. And we mentioned it earlier. We go to settings, we go all the way down to the bottom, and integrations. And here is basically your Neos App Store. It's got all of this amazing stuff here. If I scroll all the way to the bottom, we'll find YoCierge. And all you need is an account with any of these entities. And depending on what it is, you log in and you activate, you connect. Sometimes there's instructions here that walk you through everything you need to know. And then those two systems are connected. And you can use their features. You can use your data from Neos. It's all very cool stuff. Back to wrong tab. Improvements. Is little stuff, but just, they make me happy because I'm hoping that they make you happy. Added icons to tabs to indicate the tab type. Now, I am a stickler when it comes to my browser tabs. I like things nice and clean, but I have plenty of colleagues, and I'm sure some of you, those tabs, you get a lot of them open, and that is the same in Neos. So if you'll take a look here, you'll notice I've got different indicators on my tabs here. So for my cases, I've got briefcases to let me know that this tab is a case. For Mr. Abbott, we know that that one was a contact. So there's all sorts of different icons here, depending on what you have open. If it's a report or a calendar entry or whatever, a lot of it's going to be indicated right up top so you can see. The other thing that I like is just calling it out here. If you are a massive tab user, if you're rocking 20 or 30 tabs, I mean, try to clean them up. That'll make things a lot faster for you, the fewer tabs you have. But this drop down here is also really handy. It shows you all of your open tabs, and you can jump to any of them that you like. And you can also close all the tabs with one click. My Neos is now nice and clean. So don't miss out on this little down arrow right here. In addition to that, you will notice that your document generation wizard is moving faster. We've improved the performance of that. There has also been updates to our Neos QuickBooks SDK integrations. So definitely make sure that you check this out if you are QuickBooks users, and you check out that documentation, get yourself the latest version, make sure that everything is moving smoothly. Well, shoot, that takes me to 129. We covered a lot. There's still something I want to bring up. In addition to all of this, we have this week launched our next Neos University course. So if you haven't checked that out, I strongly, strongly recommend it. We have two now, the Neos Beginner User Training and Neos Administrator Training. What this is this is not a single webinar. This is a complete online course in these categories that walks a user through everything they need to know step by step for each of these roles. So if you're bringing on new staff or you're new to Neos, I strongly recommend checking out the Neos Beginner User Training. You'll get plenty of me, but I had a lot of help from our team here to design an interesting curriculum, and you can do it anytime. It's at your own speed, at your own time, and you can complete all of that. When you are done, you will actually become a certified Neos user for the beginner course or a certified Neos administrator. You'll get a Credly badge that you can actually put on your LinkedIn for your digital resume. You will be certified, but you have to take the whole course, and you got to pass an online test first. In order to get to this, you can either look at this link, neos-university at thinkific.com, which is our online platform. But guess where else it is? In the support portal. So if you click that question mark and you scroll down, there's all kinds of great stuff here. So we've got the knowledge base, which is all the written articles for everything you would ever want to need to know about Neos. It's really in depth. And our technical writer, Lauren Root, always does a great job ahead of releases. So all the new features, all the new functionality, it's all documented here in the knowledge base. The Learning Hub is full of tutorial videos. So if you've ever watched any of the videos that I create, stuff like this, on-demand webinars, they're all here in the Learning Hub. And then you've got a link straight to Neos University. So if you come to the support portal, you click Neos University, you can sign up for one of those courses. And I guarantee, no matter your level, there are things there that you never knew that you will learn and be able to take advantage of. And I have gone over time. I apologize. I try to keep it tight for you guys, but that is 132. That is what's new in Neos for September 2023. We will have an additional release before the end of the year with a lot of cool stuff cooking. So thank you very, very much for your time. I appreciate all of you spending your Friday afternoon or morning, depending on what coast you're on, with me. Have a wonderful weekend and enjoy all of these wonderful new features in Neos.